So I figured I'd do a couple of videos here on a few topics that I actually give two craps about, and then I would give you guys a big update on the Mad Max mod. We'll get to that. Aliens, Colonial Marines co-creator Timegate Studio hit with layoffs. As many as 25 people have been let go. Timegate Studios, one of the development teams that worked on the poorly received Aliens Colonial Marines, has had some of its staff laid off, according to Polygon. The development of the game, its reception, and the story of just what the hell happened has been quite the mess, and this is definitely more sad news. President of the studios, Abel Chevelle, I'm sorry if I got that name wrong, had this to say to Polygon. Quote, "Today we had to make the difficult decision to let go some great developers. This is never easy. And we're doing all we can to assist those developers affected, Timegate is preparing, as is the entire industry, for the transition to next generation consoles and a new business models." Bullshit. Bullshit. As part of this reinvention, all projects and strategic initiatives continue to move forward at the studio. End quote. Timegate also worked on the Section 8 and Fear series, so we can easily say there are definitely a talented lot out there that no longer have jobs. Sources told Polygon that as many as 25 have been let go. I hope they can find work somewhere else soon. Well, aside from the obvious that the industry at large is going into the toilet, and I find it funny that Timegate is mentioning this new business model when, frankly, none of the developers, none of anybody is showing any kind of new business model outside of maybe EA, who believes that microtransactions are the way of the future. As well as the idea that offline single player has to die, and many other things that are not steps forward for the industry. If anything, they are many, many steps back, or many steps forward, but steps forward towards an industry-wide crash, something that I've been touting for a long time now, and now I have a lot of new game news journalists who are joining me in saying the exact same thing. Funny how that works when you actually can see things for how they are. Granted, again, me and my fellow cohorts could absolutely be wrong. The industry could thrive on, and there could be a PS9 in the future. It could happen. But looking at economics, looking at the business models that they have in place, looking at everything that's going into the industry, I'm sorry, I don't see it. But okay, this isn't so much about that. Look, I hate joblessness as much as any of you. Being an artist especially, where you have people like the head of God dang it, who did that one? The head of the studio that did Eternal Darkness and the abysmal X-Men Destiny. God, you'd think I would remember their name, especially you'd think I'd remember the name of the asshat, pardon my French, who happened to say that artists in the gaming industry are, and I quote, a dime a dozen. Being somebody who's worked on and off with the likes of Ugly Wart Studio based out in Canada, I know how easily one can be replaced. I know how at times, not that I'm saying that happened in my situation, Ugly Wart was a great place. I just was not in a good spot myself, but that's a whole nother story for another time, kiddos. But I'm sorry. You guys screwed up a game that you really gotta try to screw up a follow-up to Aliens that's in the same vein as the movie Aliens, one of my all-time favorite movies. And they found a way. Not only that, we don't know to what extent who lied to who and who screwed who over. We don't know which team of absolute amateurs, and I say this fully knowing full and well what it takes to create a game level and game models and so on and so forth. To make such a bland, stripped down, and I'm not even going to compare it to the demo, I'm just saying in general, mundane title like that, that takes talent. Not good talent, mind you, but that is friggin' talent. Not to mention Fox is getting screwed by all this because they signed off on a story that was not, as far as it's been related to me by inside sources, delivered in the game. So then people be like, why did you sign off on this, Fox? And Fox is going to rightfully and truthfully say, this wasn't what we signed off for. And don't think that this stuff doesn't go on. Just ask Joss Whedon on the execution of Aliens Resurrection, as well as a lot of the original touches to Aliens Resurrection that they did not use. Things that honestly would have made for a better movie that could have gone on into a new trilogy without even the need for Ellen Ripley, except for maybe in flashback sequences. And that I wouldn't have minded. But again, that's a whole nother series that I want to bring ahead after having watched Aliens Resurrection again in my adult years and having watched Alien 3 in my adult years and seeing how my opinions of the past and my opinions now stack up. This game was abysmal. And I'm sorry, but somebody's got to be accountable, because if not, then more Colonial Marines games are going to come out. More games where, ooh, look at this. Oh, doesn't this look so beautiful, so awesome, so great? And then we get it, and it's like, what was that? I just put the game in, and it's showing me credits. You know, this is one of the... Granted, I guess I wouldn't want more hours of that turd of a game, Colonial Marines, but at the same time, when it just ends like that, especially the retcon without a proper explanation. Oh, who was the body of Hicks in Aliens 3? Oh, that was, you know, that's another story. Yeah. Tell the story then, you know. This is one of the few times that I will live with tell, don't show. But no. And then the animations, I'm serious. Glossy-eyed, almost never blinking plastic Hicks will haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. I am sure that I'm going to start having more nightmares that he's under my bed, which, if I could get that working in Gmod, that would be probably a very popular animation. And I'm not saying that these artists had any hand in doing it. But in a way, this is what Jim Sterling was talking about months ago, about how we should buy games because sometimes the execs at the top get the wrong idea and then they close studios or they fire people. To which I said, and rightfully so, that that's terrorism. That's, buy this crappy product or we're going to sacrifice this studio. Yeah, give us the money. Where's the money, Lebowski? No. But, give us the money. If you don't give us the money, then we're going to sacrifice a good studio instead of realizing that we made poor choices. And I said, no. You know what? If the industry wants to shoot itself in the foot, if the industry wants to burn itself to the ground, then it needs to be allowed to do so. Yes, that means costing jobs, especially in this economy. And you seriously have my sincere condolences. But maybe if your bosses didn't have their heads so firmly wedged up their rectums they'd be able to see the forest for the trees, and they'd be able to realize that nobody likes the microtransaction system, amongst other ills of the current gaming industry model that apparently is going through a renovation, which I've yet to see. I've yet to hear from all of the press releases of everything going into PlayStation 4. So no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that good artists lost their jobs, but I'm not going to cry over or be sympathetic to this company that was one of a trio of people that led up to the breaking of the consumer's confidence in the gaming industry now. They've literally Bane in Nightfall the gaming industry trust we had in the gaming industry in the form of Batman right over its knee. And it's unapologetic about it because you know why? They get their money anyways so far. But that can only get them so far before people start waking up and say, well, what the heck am I paying for? I'm paying to be electronically kicked in the nether regions, or I'm being or for you ladies, I guess, I'm paying to be cunt punted, for lack of a better term. And I don't feel like good. I don't feel like this entertainment is worth all of that physical pain. And you know what? You're not alone. And it's okay to want to step away from the industry and tell them that unless they fix things, that you're not going to buy their fancy, overpriced, really ridiculous featured products. This can't. I can't be the only one who's feels this way. I'm sorry these people lost their job, but this couldn't have happened to a better company, considering all the buck passing that Timegate has done for their part in this debacle.